Yay! Oh my god. Guess what we're doing today? We're gonna do a goth makeup look. Because I don't know if you noticed. First of all, look at these nails though. These little like red underbottoms. Red underbottoms. What? We're doing a goth makeup look because it's October. I don't know if anybody told you, but Halloween is coming up. October is like my favorite month. I'm gonna start off by mixing these two primers, okay? All Nighter and the smoothing one from Smashbox, which might seem strange, but sometimes the smoothing one from Smashbox is just not enough hydration. I like to mix them. I like to customize all of my makeup. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I would say a lot of the time it doesn't, you know? But here we are. Needed a little bit of hydration. Love my Auric Bear still. I know I probably don't talk about it as much, but I'm still using it regularly. For this makeup look, because I'm going goth, I decided to use the TIRTIR foundation because it's like half a shade or shade lighter than my skin tone. This is 17W French Vanilla. So obviously goth, hello. I'm not trying to make myself look so incredibly pale, but I wanted to, you know, we're going to be focusing on paler colors. We're going to be contouring. We're not going to be bronzing. This isn't a bronzy look. So speaking of contouring, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Fawn contour stick, which is a nice cool toned color. It's not gray, but it is definitely cool toned. It is what I typically use to contour my cheeks. So that this is the only thing that I'm going to be using to sculpt my face. So I'm like, oh no, it's not the only thing. I lied. I'm using this super gray toned one from Sephora, which is really great. It's so cool toned. So I'm going to build that up a little bit more. But I didn't want this to literally just be like a ghoul makeup look. I wanted this to be kind of like, honestly, I initially went into this with like a ethereal goth look in mind. It ended up being like very goth glam, like very dark and like very glam. So, you know, you start going and things change. But I wanted my face to look like goth without looking costumey, if that makes sense. So this is going to be perfect for anyone who is trying to go for, like, first of all my goths out there, you know, maybe you're trying to go for like a glam look, or maybe for Halloween, you are trying to look glam and you want to look like on theme, but you don't necessarily have like a specific theme. This is the little Novo contour stick that I picked up from Yes Style. Fantastic. I love the color. It's super duper cool toned contour. It's fantastic for contouring my nose. So I've been using this to contour my nose. The only problem is the little stick broke. So it's like kind of rattling around in the little packaging, which is kind of annoying. And I don't have time to get a new one right now. So, you know, it just takes forever to come. So whatever. But I'm using this to contour my nose and my lips. And typically, like, I've noticed recently it's a little too cool toned for my lips. In my opinion, it's great for my nose to like really shape it. But because we're going goth, I'm like, embrace the cool. Something to keep in mind is when it comes to goth makeup, or like grunge makeup, I know they're not the same, but they are, you know, like, I don't know, adjacent. The concept is not to look so pretty. You're not trying to look so pretty. So a lot of the colors that I'm going to be implementing are a little bit more cool toned, not necessarily the most complementary for my skin tone. Now I'm going in with Rare Beauty 100W, which is my lightest concealer. It's very yellow toned, very, very fair. And I'm going to be using this to highlight certain areas of my face that I typically would, but you'll notice I am avoiding my under eyes. I'm going to be using my dark circles for this look, okay? I didn't mention before, but I am going in with a brush for this because I wanted to make sure that my skin maintained kind of like a matte look. I don't know if this was the best bet though, because my skin was a little bit irritated and peely. So whatever, maybe I should have used a sponge, but you know, who cares? We did it, and I think it's fine. So I'm using this to really carve out those cheekbones to make my face look like super, like, I don't know if you want to say like gaunt or hollow, but like, come on, it's Halloween. Like, let's go for it. You know what I mean? Let's bring out the skeleton. Let's bring out the skeleton look in all of us. Tap, 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 blend, blend, blend. I've been loving the It Cosmetics brush. I hate a dual-sided brush. Like, I never use the concealer side, but I really love the way that that brush applies foundation. So for my brows, I'm going to be using this Refy brow pencil. I think this is the darkest one. And I'm brushing my hairs downward to kind of like, I want to accentuate the arch. So I want these to look very goth. I want them to look drawn. I don't want them to look like so natural. I also don't want them to be like too heavy. So I'm kind of like sketching out the shape, using my arch as the guide, and then I'm brushing those out and up. And then I'm going to start like filling in some of the like more sparse gaps. And obviously making sure that I'm focusing the majority of the pigment in the outer perimeter of the brow so that it's really like framing the face. I'm keeping the tail nice and sharp so that it has like a little bit more of a like severe kind of like don't mess with me look. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that is very goth. A lot of the shapes that I utilize in this makeup look are very much inspired by the look that I did a while back that I will link above. The Morticia look that I did, which was probably one of my favorite Halloween makeup looks ever, despite my wig being from Amazon. For my lids, I'm just priming with the Nars primer because it's pretty sheer, you know? It does have like a white base, so it probably would not be great for deeper skin tones, but it's fine. It's fine for what I'm doing. I'm taking a little bit of that underneath my eyes as well. I'm not really worrying about my under eyes. I usually don't do this because of my dark circles and the delicate skin under the eyes. I'm using this Colourpop eyeliner. I'll link it down below, obviously the color, but gorgeous red, because I knew that everything I was going to be using is going to be very gray toned, which is, you know, this next color that I'm going in with Hindash. So I wanted to kind of include like a pop of color that was really going to make my eyes pop. So that's why I went in with that kind of like burgundy red. I'm using the Beautopsy palette from Hindash, which is fantastic. It has these beautiful like gray tones. And what I love about it is, despite the fact that I am, you know, not necessarily trying to be the most flattering with this makeup look, the gray tones are a little bit warmer. So they do actually work relatively well for my skin tone. So I'm really, really focusing this like in the inner part of my brows, on the outer part, that outer wing, and then connecting in the crease so that we have this really nice like kind of swoop of a like exaggerated eye socket. And then you'll see that I'm taking this into my dark circles. So I'm going to be really utilizing my dark, no point in covering them up if I'm just going to start blending a dark shadow into them, you know? So I did a lot of back and forth with that gray tone, just kind of building it up, softening it, making it look the way that I wanted. And then I went into the black, which I barely showed you for like a second. I think I kind of went from like ever so slightly into the brown, but like mostly in the black, which one of the things that I love about the gradient of his palette, to really, really deepen up that eye socket, focusing obviously in that like winged area in the outer corner of the eye, and then bringing it in to deepen up that contrast. And again, really carve out the eye socket. That part was very, very inspired by the look that I did when I recreated the Morticia look. So then I'm building this up on the outer corner of the eye almost in an eyeliner fashion, and then really, really starting to like blend that onto the lid, because I'm going to be using something really fabulous on the eyelids, and I just wanted it to like pop. I wanted to have something that will ground it, something that I can blend into so that it all looks cohesive. There's no gaps or anything like that. Going back in with that gray and just blending, bringing some onto the lower lash line so that I have a little bit of definition, but I'm leaving the center of the lower lash line completely clean because I'm gonna put some sparkle there, which is really fun. I wanted to really sharpen up, so I'm going back in with that black. I did like a little mixture of the black and the brown. Obviously utilizing smaller brushes so that I have a little bit more precision to sharpen up that kind of like cat eye effect. This is like one of my favorite eye shapes in general. Like pretty much every eye makeup look that I do, I'm utilizing this kind of a shape. It just works really beautifully on my eye look. And then I'm going to be really deepening up the inner corner and then a little bit on the outer corner, again leaving that middle part of the under or the lash line clean, but then going in and buffing everything down into my dark circle. So just making sure that it's blended. And yeah, we're just keeping it dark, dude. Keeping it real dark. Now I'm going to grab this bronzy shade from the new, this new palette from Melt Cosmetics. They did a whole like monster collaboration, which is so awesome. It's the Frankenstein palette, I think. And I wanted to just like kind of incorporate a little bit of warmth, a little bit of texture just above the crease. So ever so slightly like towards the brow bone, just to bring in a little bit more warmth. It's not necessary, but I don't know. I just felt like it brought something to the look. Now I'm utilizing the lightest. This is the fabulous sparkly shade that we use everywhere. This is the lightest gradient highlight from Hindash. I'm popping this obviously all over my brow bone to really make that pop. You see that like intense contrast between the eyebrows, that crease. And then I'm taking this all over the lid. So focusing it obviously in the inner part of the lid and then blending into those matte colors so that, again, everything is like connected, it's cohesive, there's no gaps. But it really makes the eye pop. And then I'm taking that onto the lower lash line in that gap right in the center. So I'm just hitting kind of all of these like high points of the eyes and filling in those gaps, and it just creates like the most three-dimensional look. Using my brush, I am picking up, I'm focusing on the like bluer side. There's a slightly more like cool toned side and then a slightly more warm side of this highlight. So I'm focusing on the cooler toned side and placing that obviously around my face to really give a glow. Think Twilight. I've never actually seen the movie, but think Twilight. And then going in and just blending around the edges to make sure that everything is like nice and soft. And again, blending into those dark circles. We're embracing the dark circles today, okay? Taking a little bit of that like gray tone onto my nose just to intensify the nose contour and just like, come on, it's Halloween. Like, if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? Doing a tiny bit of spot concealing. There's just like a few little areas that kind of like stood out. And because my skin is so like glowy right now and pale, I really just wanted to make sure that there weren't any little spots that were kind of like distracting from that, especially because the eye is so glam. Dipping into the Huda Beauty powder in Pound Cake. I'm using that to set that like center area of my face. So nice that I don't have to worry about setting my under eyes. No creasing of the under eyes, you know? Just the center of the face to make it a little bit more matte and make sure that it stays put. I'm taking a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury finishing powder, which is super white, to highlight those areas. So the areas that I went in with that concealer, I'm furthermore making them super bright with this powder. And then obviously intensifying that contour. Now I'm setting my brows very lightly with the Refy Brow Setter thing, wax. I don't remember what it's called. But I'm not using this. I'm not using soap because I don't really need my brow hairs to be like perfectly set. I'm taking a tiny bit of black shadow and I'm just lining all along my lash line because I decided I wanted to do a wing. You know, like I decided I wanted to wear lashes. This is where it started to get real glam. It was no longer, I don't know. I set out to do ethereal and my hand just sort of started going and this is what we ended up with. So I'm lining my entire lash line, obviously keeping it very tight to the lash line. And then I am sort of like building up in that outer corner and I'm going to go in and create a powder wing first using the black. Wait, did I do a powder wing? I did, right? I'm just sitting here watching myself. Obviously building up now that my brows have set, I'm building up with that original brow pencil that is very, very dark. Like I'm pretty sure it's like a dark brown. But like, come on, we're goth. It's fine. Okay, maybe I didn't do a wing. I guess like I already have so much of a wing going on. I just lined my eyes so that my lashes would actually like stay. Then I obviously curled with my rougher lash curler and then I think this is Make Beauty. I can't see from here. My computer's kind of far away. But I went in with mascara and I don't really worry about using like a waterproof mascara if I'm using lashes, which I was going to. And so I decided to go in with, I'm just waiting for them for them. That's me. I'm waiting for me to show me the lashes. Obviously lower lash, come on, you know. Oh, House of Lashes. They came out with these little like half lashes that are really like fun. These were way more intense than I was expecting them to be. Like they really made my eyes look gigantic, but they're really cool. Like they're super angled. My lash application kind of sucked though. Now going in with lip liner. I believe that is just Makeup Forever Endless Cacao. Just a contoury shade. Really contouring the lips. Sticking with those cool tones, you know? Fading in a little bit. You know, my typical contour situation. blending with a little brush, a lip brush. You know what? If anyone has any lip brush suggestions, please let me know because I want one that's specifically for that. Going in with a little bit of translucent powder to set that lip liner first. And then I have this gloss. I don't know if you can use it on your lips, but it's just a black gloss. There are plenty of black glosses out there, but this is from the new Milk Cosmetics collection. I decided to use it on my lips because it really just like, the skin is matte, the eyes are glam. I think this gloss really like finished the whole look perfectly. And then I'm going in and doing some refinements with the Sephora powder, which is so gray, so cool toned. It's fantastic for this kind of thing. If you're looking to do like zombie or ghoul looks, pick up this powder. Like if you are pale, I'm telling you, it's perfect. Gotta like build up those dark circles because I don't have them enough, you know what I mean? You just want to make sure that you're blending, you guys. That's the name of the game. And this is the finished look. What do you think? This is my goth look. I hope that it looks goth to you. Sometimes people tell me that my goth looks are not goth, and then I cry. I loved it. I think it's so fabulous. I thought it was so funny that my background is like so pretty and then my look is like so goth. It made no sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, become a member, blah, 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 whatever. I'll see you in the next one, dude.